Adjustants, operatives, commanders, and dolls. Welcome back to another Snowbreak video. Where we left off, the Concord Ode, the main story. I need to do this. The other recording was almost 5 hours long. I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything longer. Therefore, we're keeping it back where it was. So, the files, Moonlit Interlude, New Moon, a mission. It was a memory long buried. For the sake of the final victory, you forced yourself to forget. But now, the time has come. Time to remember the spring of 2056, before the descent, before it all began, and raise your glass. Whatever was about to unfold, it was your story and yours alone. But remember, every choice you make will shape their fate. Who's Luna again? I don't even. Alright, I think they'll show it to us. Glass met glass with a crisp, clean chime. Under the bar hazy lights, the deep red liquor caught the glow and shimmered temptingly.
やっぱりここの味が一番最高ですね。部長、あれだけすごいことを成し遂げたのに、なんで薬ともしないんですか？もうちょっと笑ってくださいよ。
Right, that's Luna. That's Luna. Okay. Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't remember. She reached forward playful, like she meant to tug a grin into my lips. I caught her hand before she could.
些細な手がかりから合輪団の拠点を見つけて15名を逮捕、人質を1人救出したんですよ。安全部全体の歴史からしてもすごいことですから。
By anyone else's standards, this would absolutely call for a serious celebration. What's the status on the hostage?
安心してください。会社で治療を受けていますよ。
Has her identity been confirmed?
いいえ、確認したんですが、ミッドガルドのデータベースには入っていません。他地区のデータを照合するとなると、さらに時間がかかります。しばらくは会社にいると思うので、見舞いに行きますか？
I remembered a small, trembling figure curling up in the dark. When I pulled her out, she felt weightless, barely heavier than the blanket I wrapped around her. No, that's not to involve her in anything Aventus related again. She's been through enough. There's no reason to risk reopening that trauma.
わかりました。でも部長ってほんと仕事にしか興味がないんですね。嬉しそうにしてるところ見たことないですし。もしかして会社が開発した安全ロボットなんですか？
It was just part of the job. Nothing worth celebrating.
でも仕事以外の趣味って特にないんですよね。
She wasn't wrong. Ever since joining Yggdrasil, I drove myself completely into the work and rose through the ranks faster than anyone before me. But the price was clear. I nearly forgotten how to live outside of it. I can't catch the Valkyrie games when I get the chance. My gaze drifted towards the center of the bar when a hollow screen shimmered with the 7th Valkyrie games live feed.
部長が試合を見るのもこれからの仕事のためにあらかじめ会場の状況とスタッフの位置を確認してるんですよね。
Sometimes I really wish you stopped using your psyche backgrounds on me, Luna. I took a long sip from my glass, then slid hers over, a subtle way of quieting her down for a moment. She joined me just last year, fresh from the Academia Acropolis, bright, intuitive, Sharp in operations, comms, and even fieldwork. Holy crap, I just paused from that. That was so bad. I was trying to figure out how to pronounce that word. If only she applied the same precision to personal boundaries, especially with me.
私の前でわざわざ取り繕う必要はないですよ。本当に試合に興味があるんでしたら、今生中継に映ってる2人の選手の名前を言えますか？
Ah, the good old times. Hold on. It's so nice to bring this old image back from us. I really like this. The good old days. I followed her pointing fingers to display, where two contestants were locked in a fierce firefight. The silver-haired one. Calm demeanor. Just gotta be. Really? Wow. Alright.
知ってたんですね。
Last year's champion, I remember that much. Her opponent was a golden-haired girl in ornate gear. Ornate gear. Sounds like I said onigiri. Her life moved with the precision and control. This one fought like firework. That's Finny, right? Or to forget someone like her.
はい、去年の準優勝ですね。今年再戦するということで注目の対戦カードですよ。ほら、視聴者数も去年の人数を超えてますし。
Runner up, huh? Watching that confident grin loom across Fanny's face, I caught myself smiling too, without even noticing. We sat and watched the game in companionable silence for a moment. Then I gave a faint shake of my head. Not much tactical use here.
もちろんですよ。民間人を客層にした競技ゲームですし、私たちとはやり方が違います。
Right, there's nothing like us. They're nothing like us. I pour myself another drink and knock it back in one go. Two different worlds. They live in the spotlight. I work behind the scenes. No way our paths will ever cross. Not now, not ever. Guess again! I am the protagonist.
そこまでの話ではないと思いますが。
Luna was just about to argue when her headset lit up with a sharp tone. We both frowned. After hours, comms were never good news. She flicked open her soul hollow display, scanned it quickly, and then gave me a resigned nod.
タオさんに呼ばれてますよ。行きましょう。
Midgard always seems stagnant. That thought crossed my mind again as I stared out the hovercraft window. Most will argue otherwise. Around Yggdrasil's headquarters, ad boards and neon signs seems to shift by the hour. Occasionally, a signboard vanished overnight, erased from the skyline as if it never existed. An eco park relocated to the outskirts, and from its ruin, a new skyscraper rose, devouring the space where trees and vines once grew. To many, these were signs of progress, proof that this so-called city of miracles were still alive, still evolving. But ever since Yggdrasil and the military announced the end of the Genovis crisis, what hasn't changed loomed far larger than what had. Like that underground coal we took down not long ago. Strip away the brimming veneer of the prosperity, and what lay beneath began to show its true nature.
部長
A hand waved suddenly in front of my face, pulling me back from the blur of neon streaking past the weak window.
何見ているんですか？面 面白いものでもありました？
She leaned in without warning, practically halfway into my seat. You might want to ease up on the snacks. You're taking up half my seat. With her weight came to a curtain of soft hair brushing my cheek, carrying a faint scent of jasmine.
さすがに失礼ですよ、部長。
Didn't you say I didn't have to hold back around you?
それとこれとは別で。
She felt quiet halfway through her restart.
部長、あそこで燃えてるのって、もしかして。
He shifted aside, giving me a clear view through the window. Far off in the distance, beneath the sweeping of searchlights, a thick column of smoke bellowed skyward. Directly in the front of the Midgard tallest landmark, Yijusil headquarters. The fire alone wouldn't be enough to threaten a structure that size, but the swarm of security department agents rushed in and told a different story. As I processed the scene, Luna terminal lit up, alert after alert, chimming in rapid succession.
安全部の当番と会社にいる他部門責任者からのメッセージです。
Send word. Lock down the perimeter until I speak with the boss. If there's any injuries, direct them to the nearest hospital. Do not bring them back inside Yijusil.
わかりました。
Luna gave the sharp nod and summoned her holographic display. With her eyes closed, streams of texture flickered to life across the screen, and in seconds, dozens of replies were dispatched.
送信完了しました。
In this era, bionic argumentations is nothing unusual. Luna fell on the more radical end of the spectrum. The implants at the base of her skull linked directly to her terminal, letting her process data at blistering speeds. Even so, handling this many requests so efficiently, so impressive. One of the reasons I trusted her with so much. Alright, prep for landing. The hovercraft touched down in a smooth glide atop the rooftop pad. Without a word, Luna and I head straight to the private elevator. It dropped fast, and within moments, we arrive at the floor housing the command room. But when the doors slid open, what greets me was not what I expected. Director Tao. I raised a brow, dragged a chair over without ceremony, and sat down. She looked like she was in the early 30s at most, but in fact, she was at the Yijusil. She was on the Yijusil board of directors and responsibilities for its two most critical programs, AI development and the Balder inhibitor. Of all the directors, Tao was the only one still conducting hands-on research. She avoided routine meetings and public appearances. We rarely crossed paths. Luckily, the person standing beside her was someone I did know. Caroline von Strafenberg, Tao's current executive assistant. She once been a frontline operative until an injury moved her into administrative work. Like me, she worked closely with the director, and over time we developed a quiet rapport. Sometimes we trade stories about internal politics, just to stay sane. She caught the look in my eyes, gave a tiny nod, a silent cue. Listen first, speak later.
急に呼び出してすみません。
A standard pleasantry, but from her flat clinical voice, it sounds more like a line from a briefing report. Just doing my job.
先に言っておきますが、本日の件は極秘事項のため、できるだけ信頼できる方のみを同行させるようお願いします。開発部関連の件ではありますが、秘密保持のため、私から直々に説明を行います。
I gave a silent nod, but sometimes about her facing triggered a quiet alarm in the back of my mind. The way she did it is almost implies the other directors weren't in the loop. Rumors of friction among the board weren't new, but I always made it to the point to steer clear of the internal politics. So long as things stay cordial among the board, I still had room to climb. But if it came to picking sides, there's no safe space to stand. I stayed quiet. Tao continued.
では、エッダについてどこまで知っていますか？
EDA, an AI system developed by Yggdrasil to assist the boulder inhibitor research. Its mainframe is currently housing abroad the Miscellanean Station.
はい、結構です。宇宙ステーションにいるエッダのアップデートとメンテナンスを行うときは、人員と設備を宇宙に送らなければいけません。
With a flick of her wrist, Tao signaled Caroline. The assistant stepped forward and handed me the printed photo. A chip? The moment I saw the photo, a hunch took hold. This is an upgrade module for EDA, isn't it?
ええ、社内では6番チップと呼ばれています。エッダの処理能力を大きく向上させられるもので、我々にとって非常に大事なものです。
Sounds like this wasn't the first upgrade. Well, I didn't say out loud, not once, in all my times heading security, had I received any escort orders for the module like this. Tao caught my doubt immediately. She tapped the table once with a finger.
先ほど説明した通り、エッダに関することのため、チップの開発と輸送は開発部が直々に担当しています。開発部以外だと、社内外問わずチップのことを知る人はほぼいません。
And now it's missing. The fire at the gate. Tao's a typical tension. It wasn't hard to connect the dots.
今回の件は正直偶然というか。
She was trying to soften the blow, ease me away from pushing Tao too hard, but Tao didn't let her.
偶然だとしても、私たちの落ち度です。
はい、おっしゃる通りです。
カロリン、事件の詳細を説明してあげてください。
わかりました。では、こちらをご覧ください。
She handed me another photo, this time showing me a compact memory unit.
こちら、会社に所属している研究者のメモリです。中には、彼女が独自で開発したプログラム、火種システムが入っています。
A name for more evocation than chip number 6.
彼女によると、火種を使えば、一般の方でも楽々と人工知能を用いてプログラムのカスタマイズを行えるため、機械の使用難易度が大きく下がるだそうです。あ、ルナが使用している機体も火種に接続すれば訓練なしで使いこなせるようになります。
At the unexpected mention of her name, Luna blinked once, then gave an acknowledging nod.
とにかくこのシステムは先日ベータ版がローンチされ、民間から注目を集めています。すると人工知能反対団体の人が訪ねてきて、火種は違法活動に利用される可能性が高いため廃棄すべきだと訴えかけてきました。人工知能であれば何でも反対するような方たちなので、会社側はもちろん了承しませんでした。
Caroline let out a quiet sigh.
ですが今日、火種のメモリを乗せた輸送車が会社付近でカージャックに遭い、メモリもボートたちに奪われてしまいました。6番チップを乗せた輸送車はその車の後ろについていました。目的地は全く違うのに、会社のロゴがあるだけで無差別に襲われて、チップもメモリも行方不明になりました。人工知能反対団体は6番チップの価値についてよく知らないはずなので、大げさに捜索を始めるとかえって気づかれてしまいます。チップ紛失による損失は会社には手に負えないので、できるだけ早くかつ 安全に解決してください。それのために最大限の予算とサポートを提供いたします。
As if on cue, Caroline produced a magnetic card, yet black, only with Yggdrasil logo. But as she said, with this, I could mobilize near limitless resources.
会社は昔からあなたのことを有能だと認めています。3日
3日って。
I screwed up. That was a very long pause. In my opinion. I thought she would speak a bit faster. Luna glanced at me, hesitant, but I didn't take my eyes off Tao. Understood. I slipped the key card into my coat. I knew clearly this wasn't a request. Refusal was never on the table. All I could do now was figure out how to turn this sudden temporary authority into a stepping stone towards a better future. As for the recovering the chip, that was part of the job. File 2. Moonlit Interlude, Crescent Moon, a Q. Once Tao and Caroline left, it was just me and Luna in the command room. I toyed with the Mate Black clearance card, spinning it between my fingers, while Luna paced it in mid-frustration. When it became obvious I wasn't going to engage, she finally halted in front of me.
部長。
She pouted in exaggeration frustration, putting on her best impression of a poor, overworked assistant.
3日は短すぎますよ。なのにあっさり了承するだなんて。いい案があるんですか？
Not much of one is short of time. First step is gathering every lead we could find.
だと思いました。結局このオールマイティーな助手に頼るんでしょ？
Who else am I counting on? You're the best at this.
じゃあ部長はその間に何をするんですか？
I'll be looking for backup. Al wants to keep this to a few people as possible, but if things get messy, just the two of us won't cut it.
人で？安全部で頼りになりそうな人を呼べばよくないですか？
This whole thing might go as all the way to the top. Bringing in someone outside might actually be safer. There's an independent mech, recommended by someone I trust. Might be time we finally met. After a few detours, I found myself back at the bar where Luna and I had shared drinks earlier. It was already late, but the place was still buzzing. I made straight to the booth in the back of the corner and took the seat with my back to the wall. Roughly 10 minutes later, I heard a sharp click of heels approaching. I looked up right on cue.
こんばんは。
The girl who stopped at my table was tall, guarded. Everything about her, posture, outfit, the way she held her jaw, said keep your distance. She offered a curt nod before sliding into the seat across from me.
あなたが部長さんね。
That's me.
コードネームにしては独特なセンスね。
She gave me a quick once-over, blunt, unimpressed. I could already tell she wasn't sold on the name.
仲介人から聞いたと思うけど、カーシア・クラインよ。依頼について聞かせて。傭兵の仕事なら何でも OK よ。
She talked like a pro. Chipped tone, no wasted words. But the crack showed. Judging by her face, she couldn't have been much older than 20. For a second, I wonder if the middleman has said the wrong girl. What you have, Miss Klein. I snapped my fingers to call over the service bot. She barely glanced at the menu before tapping the very first item.
アルスターフォグちょうだい。
Bold choice. I'll take the house special. The bot hummed off towards the bar, and I turned my full attention back to Klein. I'll get straight to it. I asked the middleman for someone who works alone. No fuss, no mess. That's why you're here. I need help recovering stolen assets. Full payment, top rate, upfront. In return, this mission stays off the record. This meeting, it never happened. Details, target, timeline, logistics, I'll send you to the terminal.
そう。
No questions?
特に。
She didn't offer an explanation. It didn't seem like she thought one was necessary. An awkward silence settled in. I had expected this meeting to wrap up before our drinks ever arrived. Should I leave now? But that would feel almost rude. Miss Klein, that weapon on your back. Is that a crossbow?
そうよ。
Bit old school, huh?
扱いやすくて音もしない。その上目立たないから。
Right. Low profile, says a girl hauling a crossbow in plain sight. I bit back the comment. No need to start things off on the wrong foot. I was about to search for the better topic, but the service bot returned just in time. Cheers. Here's to the smooth op. I raised my glass her way, already thinking I'm down to it and call it a night. For some reason, she gave her drink a quick glance, like she wasn't sure about this part. Then she lifted the glass, gave it a half-hearted drink, and down in one go. Wait, all in one go?
つまり傭兵さんは知らないものを注文したってことですか？
Back in Yggdrasil command room, Luna looked way too pleased as she watched me peel off my jacket, still reeking in mist and ulster, and change into the spare outfit she prepped. It has been 2 hours since I rushed Klein into some mouthwash and made sure she got home in one piece. She told me later it was her first time drinking in the bar. Didn't want to look like a rookie in front of me, so she faked it. Her exact words. That stuff was disgusting. I'm never drinking again.
なんだかまだ新米っぽいですね。部長、やっぱり他の人にお願いしません？
No, I double-checked her background. She's still the best fit for this. Once she stepped back on her feet, I'll bring her in again. What about your side?
はい、こちらをご覧ください。
With a dramatic flair, she brought up a map of the zones around Yggdrasil.
会社周辺にある民間用監視カメラをお借りして反対団体の動きを大体つかみましたよ。
Piggybacked.
私の権限ではちょっと足りなかったので部長の上級権限を拝借しちゃいました。
Why am I not surprised?
とにかく反対団体はあらかじめ避けては通れない道についてる会社のカメラをハッキングしたので民間のカメラを確認するしかなかったんです。向こうにも監視カメラ事情に詳しい人がいるようですね。まあハッキングの腕はお粗末でしたけど何回か暗号化工程を挟んでましたがそれでもトラッキングしやすかったです。反対団体は会社の露天駐車場から200メートル離れた場所で道路を通行止めにして数の暴力で2分未満で輸送車の運転手2人を気絶させました。そして荷物を強奪して 車に火をつけたんです。幸い運転手を火に入れることだけはしなかったみたいですね。それから荷物を手分けして運んで違う方向へ向かって逃げていきました。厄介なのは監視カメラの映像だけでは誰がチップを持っていったのかが分かりません。しらみつぶしに調べていくと3日以上かかりますよ。
After laying out the situation, Luna got up and gave a longed stretch. Anything new on the anti-AI group?
人工知能の発展を制限することをモットーにおおよそ10年前から活動を開始した団体ですね。ただ一つだけ引っかかるんですが、今までは主にデモとオンライン演説会だけで暴力的な活動はしてこなかったはず。なのに今回会社の荷物を狙った行動はなんだか。
Which leaves two options. Someone's impersonating them, or someone on the inside is pulling their strings.
はい、タイミングが良すぎますよね。火種の機密レベルは6番チップより低いものの、輸送時間とルートは外部に漏れていないはずです。今回のカージャックは決して突発的なことではありません。事前準備も後片付けも念入りに行っていました。それに
Luna trailed off, raising a finger towards the ceiling. I called her in meaning. Tao's concerned, the pinpoint strike, it all points to a mole. If this weren't just a rogue employee, we quietly shut it down. But if it's a board-level power play, count me out. Let's park that theory for now. Here's what we should do first. Track the hacked surveillance node. If the hackers involved, odds are they operated out of the central hub. Better to take out the brains that chase every pawn.
そう言われると思いました。町の南、郊外にある廃棄された倉庫にいるはずです。いつでも出発できますよ。
Nice work. I paused, thinking how far we come since Luna joined. Not I even managed without her. We'll grab the gear. You get the hovercraft ready. Rooftop then 5. Since joining Yggdrasil, I rarely step beyond Midgard Central's district. And again, this city might as well be its own country. Just an urban core housing over 10 million, and counting the full sprawl. Closer to 40? It's not even including the outer satellite zones. Fueled by the advanced logistics, Midgard ran like a sci-fi machine, sucking in outside resources and turning out good and glowing market indexes. Why does this remind me of Final Fantasy VII? By the time our hovercraft reached the southern outskirts, dawn has just begun to break. But in the city that never truly slept, even sunrise looked pale beyond the haze of neon. We pulled off on the open patch of ground a few clicks from the target warehouse, far enough to avoid tipping them off. After embarking, I handed Luna her gear.
あれ、結局スタンガンのみですか。てっきりもっと強いものを使うのかと思いました。
You and your obsession with heavy firepower. For an op like this, those big toys stay in storage.
執念ってそんな。痛いのが苦手で負傷したくないだけですよ。
She pulled out her cheeks like a sulky chipmunk. Speaking of pain, didn't you skip your last physical with that excuse? Guess who had to clean up that mess for you?
だってそれが苦手なんですもん。
Nice try, not gonna work with me. If you really want to make it up to me, stay sharp. Let's finish this quick and clean.
はいはい、部長は公正無視なんですから。
After we circled the perimeter, Luna and I slipped in through the rear window of the warehouse. As I suspected, something fell off the moment we stepped inside. It looks like abandoned from the outside, but inside, signs of recent cleaning were obvious. I signaled to Luna, drew my stun gun, and moved silently along the wall. Soon, I heard soft rustling deeper in the warehouse. Peering through the shelvings, I spot a young woman hunched over at a workbench, her back facing me. 3 others lounged nearby, dressed in plain clothes, chatting like it was any regular day. None looked trained for combat, no weapons. Nothing to suspect that they were more than civilians. A theory began to take shape in my mind. Luna shot me a quick gesture. Do we get them now? I shook my head, holstered my weapon, and stepped into the opening. Luna followed closely.
誰？
Upon hearing our footsteps, this murmurs halted and eyes snapped to us in alarm. City Security Bureau, we need your full cooperation. The tents exchanged uncertain glances. I casually reached for the badge on my belt and held it up for them to see.
保安局。
The one who seems like the leader turned pale. The others dropped their eyes, avoiding my gaze.
ここで荷物を確認してるだけです。怪しいことはしていません。
You've heard the report. Yiju saw a shipment stolen just yesterday. Yiju had a shipment stolen just yesterday. Did I just read? I interrupted her flimsy excuse without much as a chance in tone, then closed the gap between us. I have you all know, one of the primary suspects is already in custody. I flicker open my terminal, scrolling through it as if they weren't even there. According to her confession, several civilians either volunteered or misled into assisting with the hijacking. Under Holmes law, that's considered a serious felony. Beads of the sweat trickling down their brow. 2 of them shifted uneasily, clearing on the verge of bolting. Although, I let the word hang in the air before offering a deliberately disarming smile. As it stands, there's no hard evidence tying you to the crime, and right now, no one else knows you're here, except me. Security only needs a ringleader. If you tell me what I need to know, I could look the other way. I thought there was a dialogue for her. Why did she just say, eh? Because I started out in the lower city myself. Myself? Me-self? Ah, frick. The one moment I slipped into the lower city accent. A flicker of surprise passed over every face in the room, even Luna's.
本当に見逃してくれるんですか？
You have my word. She hesitated, her eyes flickering with uncertainty. But after a long breath, she met my gaze and nodded.
わかりました。知ってる限り全て話します。私たちはあの組織に騙されたんです。
You mean the anti-AI group?
はい。あの人工知能反対団体は見た目ほどの影響力は持っていません。ネットで下町の一般人を集めて有償ではありますが、定期的に抗議活動やデモに参加させるんです。報酬は悪くないので、多くのデータマイナーたちが依頼を受けてしばらくやってきました。てっきりユグドラシルに平和的に圧を与えるだけの組織だと思っていました。
なのに、あの日のデモで急に知らない人たちが飛び出してきて、運転手を襲って荷物を強奪していったんです。面識が一切なかった人たちだと断言できます。あの時になってやっと利用されたんだと気づきました。あの人たちは混乱に乗じて荷物を持ち去りました。今までの待ち合わせ場所であるこの倉庫に来て説明してもらおうとしましたが、ここは見ての通りすでにもぬけの殻です。
だから平和的だったのに急に表変したんですね。
Everything she said matched up perfectly with Luna's findings. You mentioned this with your usual meetup spot. So did you ever see any of their faces face to face? Did you ever see any of them face to face? The woman's expression darkened. Shame and frustration flickered across her features.
愛はしましたが、相手はロボットなんですよ。
人工知能反対団体なのにロボットを使うんですか？
はい。顔が割れるのが嫌だというので、いつもロボットを使って遠いところから私たちと連絡を取っていますね。声もわからないように処理してるんです。だから実際に会ったことはありません。
I must have looked doubtful because she quickly added,
嘘はついてません。
I believe you. Can you describe the robot?
だいたい2メートルくらいの黒いやつで、そこまで重くないものだと思いますが。
Luna, you got everything? We left the warehouse and made our way back to the car.
もちろん。この特徴を持っていて遠距離通信可能なロボットの型番は一つしかありません。
Luna's fingers danced across her terminal, summoning a sleek schematics of the bot.
この型番の安全ロボットは会社が大量に注文するのがメインで、ネットに記録のある個人依頼は5件しかありません。ロボットの最大通信距離を考慮に入れると怪しいのはこの1件のみです。
Her terminal displays shift to the map, a single private estate. 10 clicks out, highlighted in bold red.
さあ、拍手していいですよ。
I gave her 2 half-hearted claps just to humor her. Let's move. I'll contact Klein en route.
そういえば、部長は下町で暮らしたことがあったんですか？
No, I told you. Didn't move to Midgar until I came to age.
じゃあ、なんで方言が話せたんですか？
Most people you deal with are Yejusel employees, but this city is bigger than that. You work this job long enough, you meet all kinds, learn how they talk, what makes them tick, speak their language and door opens faster.
つまり、あの証明書も？
A replica. Sent me back 500 silver bucks. I chuckled, giving her a light tap on the head, then slid into the hovercraft. I swear, the silver bucks is actually really cheap compared to DigiCash. File 3. Last one. Oh, I didn't realize this. It's alright. Moonlit interlude, full moon, a bullet. After being inclined with the rendezvous point, Luna and I came to the nearby fast food chain for a quick bite. After a sleeping night, I couldn't stop yawning while we waited for our food. Luna, on the other hand, looks like she just started her day, bright-eyed and full of energy. Fast food really livening up to the names these days. I watched the server bot glide over with our tray and shook my head. Two identical burgers sat on the tray. Same lettuce, same meat, same sauce. Even the sesame seeds were a carbon copy. No doubt they were factory standard products, just reheated on site.
せっかくだし、そう言わずに楽しみましょうよ。
Luna was clearly loving it. Between office duties and juggling terminal work, she rarely got the chance to enjoy street food. Me? I burned out on it ages ago. Still, I force it down and call it a meal. 20 minutes later, Klein showed up outside the diner. Klein. Luna? Luna? Klein.
こんにちは、クラインさん。
こんにちは。
As blunt as ever. Classic Klein.
作戦計画は来る途中で確認しといたわ。で、いつやるの？
Now follow me. We already scouted the surrounding terrain, so it didn't take long to find a low-raised building with a perfect vintage on the front yard.
部長、あちらを見てください。
Vantage. I meant to say vantage. My mistake. I followed her pointed fingers. Just outside the gates, 5 security bots patrolled the perimeter, flanked by the few sentry drones.
やっぱりこの前の一般人と接触するために使われた型番ですね。
あれだけいるのに誰にも疑われないの？
A villa like this already sticks out like a sore thumb in a lower city. Honestly, I'll be more surprised if it didn't have its own private army standing guard. Luna, can you breach their system? She brought up her terminal, aiming it towards the structure, tapping through a quick sequence, then shook her head.
ネットとつながってない上に見張るよう指示されていますね。ハッキングをして私に操作できるのは1台までです。
That'll do. I'll take the 3 posted out front. Luna, handle the pair by the gate. Klein, can you take out the drones? She gave a crisp nod, drew her crossbow and melted into the shadows. Let's move. I gave Luna a quick nod, drew my sidearm, and took the first shot. The gunshot cracked through the air as I surged forward, slamming into the nearest bot and sending it sprawling with a kick. Before it could recover, I brought my pistol down hard, smashing its faceplate with a decisive strike. Farther off, the first bot I shot at was staggering towards me. Another one, undamaged, was closer and right behind me. With about 15 meters between us, both raised their built-in SMGs and opened fire. But I was already moving. I scooped out the layout beforehand, using crates and containers as cover at closer distance, trading shots as I advanced. The damaged one dropped first, my rounds chewing through his chassis in a burst of sparks. The second bot didn't back down, it charged, aiming to finish the fight up close. Big mistake. Up close is my turf. As head of security, I spared with the Yggdrasil combat androids more than I could count. The bot swung his reinforcement fist. I slipped a blow, slid behind it, and drove a solid kick into its back. It crashed forward, arms flailing. I was fully aware of this model was built for mobility, not durability, and thanks to the ones just disabled, I already pinpointed the weak spot, the head. 2 clean shots to the back of the skull dropped it. The machine spasms, then went still. I glanced towards the gates. Both bots there were already down. Luna's doing. Probably overrode one. Use it to disable the other, then trigger a self-destruct. The patrol drones that has been circling above were now wrecked and scattered across the ground. Klein's work, no doubt. With the perimeter cleared, the gunfire likely drawing eyes from the neighborhood, I didn't waste a second. Stepping up the front gate, I kicked in. The foils were empty, but the scattered cushions and upturned chairs told me everything I needed. Someone had left in a hurry. They could have gone far. Luna, sweep the first floor. Klein, second. I issued the order on the fly. They peeled off without question. I made straight to the third. First room clear. Second, nothing. Then I saw it. The last door at the end of the hall. My guts twist. This was the one. Kick open the door. I move on instant, kicking the door wide and diving hard to the side. A burst of gunshot ripped past, chewing into the wall where I just been. A shrill voice panicked, coming from inside. An idea struck. I reached out and knocked over a vase with a sharp crash. Predictably, it startled the woman inside, and she fired a few more rounds blindly. By the time I waltzed into the room, she finally realized her mag has been empty. If this was some trending net drama, this be the part where I lower the weapon. Hear her out. Some impassioned monologue about fighting corporate tyranny, and we part ways with mutual respect. But instead I raise my stun gun and drop her on the spot. Anti-AI Crusaders. Give me a break. The terminal she was using was a unit from one of Yggdrasil's biggest competitors. People like her love hiding behind righteous slogans, but in the end, it's always about money. It's sickening. I stepped over a twitching form and approached the terminal humming across the room. There it was. The money unit contains the Ember system. Mid-upload. And chip number 6? Just tossed to the side, like some discount flyer nobody asked for. I turned. Luna and Klein were already coming down the hallway. Found our prize. I nodded towards the terminal. Verify the contents, Luna. Then wipe it clean. Luna dove into the system with practice ease. I turned Klein instead. You good? Any injuries? She paused, then glanced up at me.
さっきロボットを倒した時の動き、悪くなかったわ。ひょっとして同業さんだったの？
Something like that. Just answer to the different kind of client. You interested? I could show you a few moves if you got time. Another pause. After a moment thought, she gave a small nod, then looked away. She then handed me something I haven't seen in years. An old school paper business card.
プライベート用の連絡先よ。
I'll keep it safe.
部長、終わりましたよ。ほら、部長、危ない。
Her smile vanished in a flash. In one fluid motion, Luna lunged and tackled me to the floor. Gunfire cracked. A sharp twang followed, and a heavy thud.
生き残りがいたなんて。
Lowering her crossbow, Klein stepped past us and peeked into the hallway. 10 meters out, and security bot spawned lay sprawled, an arrow driven deep into its chest plate. I snuck up with it while my guard was down. It's okay, Luna. I'm fine. I moved to help her, But that's when I noticed. She was clutching her left arm, fingers trembling. You're hurt? I leaned in, frowning. Before I could inspect the wound, she shook her head sharply, panic flashing in her eyes. Still, the truth was already bleeding out in plain sight. From a gash in her forearm, slipping between her fingers, wasn't red blood. It was some kind of blue fluid. A dozen guesses flashed through my mind, but in the end, I said nothing. I just helped her to her feet, quietly stepped between her, and climbed.
あなたたち
She was halfway to checking on us when the racing wails of sirens cut through the air outside.
保安局の人が向かってきたわよ。私は大丈夫だけど、手伝ってあげようか。
I shot a concerned glance toward Luna, who was still clutching her arms. I offered Klein a calm smile. We're good. You go on ahead. Payment's already transferred. Good working with you, Klein.
ええ、毎度ね。その、連絡、待ってるわ。
She held my gaze for a heartbeat longer, then vaulted out the window, disappearing into the night. Only when I was sure she was gone did I finally turn to Luna. Forget the explanation for now. I need to know. How bad is it? Should I be worried? She dropped her gaze, shaking her head gently.
ただのかすり傷ですよ。
That's good to hear. I stepped back to the terminal, removing the memory unit containing the Ember system, and slipped the chip number 6 securely into my coat pocket. Let's get out of here. If the Bureau spots us, things could get complicated. Sirens screamed through the night. Security Bureau vehicles and helicopters were converging past. But by the time they reached the estate, we were already gone, the memories unit and the chips in hand, vanishing past their condor under cover of darkness. Now will you tell me, who are you, Luna? We kept running. I could see her arm, the wound still bleeding blue. She stayed silent at first, biting her lip, slowly wrestling herself. Then finally, she looked up and met my eyes, and gave a firm nod.
部長にだけは嘘をつきたくありません。見ての通り、私はヒューマノイドなんです。
Oh, never mind. I thought she would be a squid.
痛いのが嫌って言ったのも、傷を負うとヒューマノイドだってバレるからです。今の法律だと、自分の意思を持つヒューマノイド、合成人と人工知能を製造するのは罪を問われますし、バレた時点で該当製造品は廃棄されます。
She paused to take a deep breath.
まあ、私を作り出した方は6年前、私が意思を持つようになった日に亡くなったんですけどね。アクロポリス学院の有名な教授だったんですよ。今になってもヒューマノイドなんかを作った理由はわかりません。人としての立場やアクロポリス学院の学籍を用意してくれたので、彼女の娘としてアクロポリス学院で5年間過ごして、卒業するとこの会社に入って部長と出会いました。私のような特殊な存在は学院に居続ける方が安全だって分かっています。ですが、どうしても外の世界が知りたかったんです。人の感情が、自分が世界に存在する理由が知りたいんです。
So, did you find your answer?
いいえ。
It There was a quiet ache in her voice she couldn't quite hide.
多分結局私は人間と異なる存在なんでしょうね。会社に入ってあなたの助手になれて嬉しかったんです。部長に会うと、部長と一緒に任務を終わらせると、一緒に飲みに行くと、休みの日に部長の部屋に押しかけてお掃除すると嬉しくなるんです。ですが今日のことで思い知らされました。私の正体はいずれバレます。私はただのヒューマノイドなんです。あなたのそばに居座ったらいつかあなたを巻き込んでしまいます。だから。
So what? I cut her off. Synthetic or not, I like you either way.
好きって。
She froze in place, eyes wide with shock. Unless I was imagining things, I swear I saw steam rising from her head. That's right. I said, synthetic or not, I like you either way. I repeated slowly, reaching out to take her hand again. You're smart, capable. Kawaii desu ne? What's not to like? Looks like we're partners in crime now. Her fingers curled tight around mine, like she was afraid I'll disappear if she let go. We'll deal with the rest when it comes. For now, let's go home. Okay, that's it. That's basically just the end of it. Yeah. That's all I can offer you. I thought it would be much longer, but it is what it is. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm pretty sure you guys will comment, oh, this is some bad, terrible acting. That's fine. I understand that. I did so badly in the monologue, the text, and whatnot. Some things don't match up in what way. But if you do actually like the video, leave a like if you want, if you can. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And if you did subscribe, share this video. It will help me a lot. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, keep playing Snowbreak. And I'll continue doing what I have to do. Regardless, I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care everyone.